Welcome to the Splash 2024 Black Diamond Advisory YouTube podcast. My name is Cameron Lackpour, and I have as my co-host
Selvin Katukaran.
And we're delighted to have our very special guest,
Damon Mittleider.
Damon. So for the audience, we work for Damon. So we're going to ask extra nice questions. Everything will be a softball. It won't be a...
This won't turn into a complaining session.
We could do that later.
Oh, okay.
We're totally ready to do that off camera. So I guess I should say that, Damon, you're the Chief Technology Officer of Black Diamond, BDA. We do actually work for you. We work in the product group. You were formerly the Chief Product Officer for Going Right Titles. Really, your job is now split between the two of us. Let's talk a little bit about your vision for products in BDA, because this commercialization of software, we all came from the Oracle Hyperion space, and it really wasn't very common. I don't actually think it existed at all. Maybe there were accelerator kits, but nothing really beyond that. Tell us how you got this idea, because it's really kind of amazing.
Yeah. So when we started Black Diamond, my title was Chief Product Officer, employee number 2. We started it with that kind of vision of product. And a lot of that was before we founded BDA. Randy Werder, CEO, and myself, and a few of the others, we worked together for quite a while with a OneStream practice at our former company. And because I had a software background, I kind of recognized that OneStream really lent itself being transportable. You could build something and replicate it easier. I've worked with Hyperion S-Base and planning for quite a few years, like you guys did. Mm-hmm. And, every S-Base application had, vastly different dimensionality. The way you loaded data varied so much from app to app, but it really, because it already at the heart of it has an object-oriented programming language underneath of it, and you're thinking in an object-oriented, method, it's why not build solutions on top of it. So we kind of went into that mindset day one, is that this will be something we focus on, and not just building accelerators, because when Hyperion, we did that for a number of years where you'd have some sort of starter kit, but it was never, you could never make it robust enough to really satisfy every requirement. So we got into it with day one. We that mindset, and knowing that at some point OneStream would eventually let partners put things in the solution exchange, but we really built that from day one. And so we've got a number of different solutions. I mean, as you guys know, because now you've, largely taken over kind of the day-to-day operations on that. Like our compensation solution, I mean, we've deployed that many, many times, and it's, low code, no code kind of solutions. We're finally at that point where we've matured a lot of these solutions, and, kind of that vision was, I think, obvious in some ways to me before we even started BDA, but I think the rest of the community is kind of catching up to that idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I did my first compensation implementation. Oh my God, was it 2 years ago? It might have been. Time really does fly. I'd done other products, other companies' tools before. What I found so interesting, 2 things that I thought were really innovative. One was the notion of relational blending, which is a OneStream thing. But the fact that it dynamically built the cube. Yeah. It wasn't just a relational layer that did stuff and then loaded the results into a cube. It's very difficult to tell where one starts and the other ends. That's extraordinary, and it performs really well as well. And I'm not just saying this for the camera and potential customers. It's true. Right. It is true. It is very performant, and it can do an awful lot.
Right. I think OneStream, just the technology that underlies where it is, there's relational data, there's, cubes. It gives you advantages that Hyperion just never had. Yeah. And being able to build a solution that can take advantage where necessary of each of those, you can make something very performant because you don't have to do everything in a cube. You can, data that just doesn't make sense. You're not hogging up cube with, cube space and the overhead of aggregating it. It does allow you to do that. And metadata, it's, very easy to add metadata programmatically in OneStream. So you can really pull off a very, very good solution that requires very little maintenance from administrator that way.
Yeah, I thought it was extraordinary. The other thing, the first thing I saw when I came to BDA was, or were two of the utilities, I guess they're called utilities on Partner Place, the metadata manager and the security manager. So these are part of the core technology, core productivity bundle. They can be bought separately as well. There you go, my commercial bit for this. But quite seriously, the building of dimensions in OneStream is either you're going to hack a lot of XML, you're going to write code to do it, or you use the metadata builder marketplace tool, which is sort of formulas and it's sort of an add-in and it creates XML and you copy and paste it into a text file. You built a parent-child, you built this Excel-based parent-child dimension builder. It's incredible. It does deletes, sorts, moves, shares. Oh my God, it's the way it always should have been.
Right. Yeah, I think the same way. I mean, metadata maintenance in OneStream, like you said, it's either hacking XML or, I mean, even part of it, the solution that, that we use, the Excel template, is still hacking together XML.
It is.
And we all use Excel every day. It just seems like that's the way to do it. Like it just seems kind of obvious. But having that functionality, because I think probably the number one time suck for most administrators is metadata maintenance. I mean, or it is one of the higher ones. Just being able to quickly and efficiently add metadata or sort things, it gives you a lot of power just through a simple Excel interface.
The same is true for the security manager. That's the other big one where it was like, wow, this is really hard to do with XML. Yeah. Again, it's just lists in Excel and up it goes.
Yes.
I was impressed. It's hard to impress me. I was really impressed.
Then let me tell you this. Not for the camera, but you're a few of the smart people that I worked with, and I know I don't count many people in that list.
Oh. What about? Not in that list.
So what keeps you going? Like you have come up with, like before we joined, it was you. Like all these utilities that we see, all these solutions that we see that come out from Black Diamond, it's all you. So what keeps you going?
I don't know, most days this job is fun, and you can innovate. I mean, one of the things I think that I've always been proud of at BDA is we innovate, we encourage innovation, and myself included, just kind of keeps going, wanting to try that next thing. I don't know, it's fun. If you're into that sort of thing of just coming up with the next useful tool. And two, some of it is just because, quite honestly, I'm, with like the metadata tool, most of it's because I'm just lazy. I really built it because I didn't want to have to hack XML. That's really what some of it boils down to. And a lot of the things like the task editor, I put that together because I was so tired of the tedious work that you had to do just to build kind of a simple dashboard for some drop downs. So let's just build something to do this. So some of it's just, trying to overcome my own pain points. And it's like, well, as long as it's helping me, it can help other people. But yeah, as far as keep going, I mean, there's always something else that I think we can be delivering or innovating on. And it's just, I don't know, there's satisfaction in that.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about Accordion, right? So I'm going to get the name right, the BDA Accordion rolling forecast that everyone else calls Accordion. That's built on Task Editor. Could you tell our audience a little bit about what the vision behind that is and what the use case is?
Yeah, so I guess that's one of the, just kind of the overall way that I've tried to construct things and that you guys have continued to carry forward is building tools that, as an architecture, things that can build on top of each other. So Task Editor was built in a lot of ways because when, I think back to our Hyperion planning days and how you had task lists. Mm-hmm. And it's a level lower than what workflow would do. And I said, we need something lower level than workflow. But everything going forward will need that, whether it be Accordion or, So we built Task Editor to satisfy that sort of sub-workflow level attention, detail. Then with Accordion, it was like, okay, well, we want to build this forecasting process, but in a forecasting process, you have tasks. So we built Task Editor. Now we can plug Accordion over the top of that. And then when you think back, like our compensation, it's actually built on top of Accordion, which is built on top of Task Editor. So really what we're doing, and I think you'll start to see us deliver more of this as you guys kind of, you've seen behind the curtain, but we'll start to deliver things like industry solutions. Every industry solution is going to need tasks. They're going to need an Accordion forecast. They're going to need compensation. These are all just building blocks or components that will build up to any solution that we want to accomplish in the future. So really the thought process was, let's build something that can be repurposed and reused, and then we don't have to build the same thing over and over again.
So you build a platform on a platform.
Yeah. In fact, we used to have a slide that's, as I was trying to explain to, different people kind of our thought process, it literally did say platform up on a platform. So
what's your take on Partner Place, right? This is OneStream's software ecosystem, software marketplace. What's BDA's role in it? We've released, we've been in two different called cohorts, yep. Two different release cohorts. There are not many companies that have done that twice.
Right.
What's your take on the value of Partner Place and where it's going?
So I think Partner Place is still maturing. We're still, we were in the first two cohorts of it. There'll be a third cohort, which I assume we'll submit. I know we plan to submit more. I think it's still maturing, and I think in a lot of ways, and I know for a fact that one of the reasons we were included in the first 5 launch partners is because they knew we were already thinking and structured to think like a software company, and structured to have release schedules and provide support around that. That's why we were included. I think we were a little bit more mature and continue to be a little bit more mature. But as it matures, that will be the place where we place applications or solutions. I think what it is delivering right now is it is very valuable for just the marketing and the recognition of these solutions, and it just helps. It helps BDA show people the different solutions we have, even if you're not familiar with BDA.
Okay. So we end our OneStream employee conversations with a vision question about OneStream, but we also have a hobby question for you. So when we do the OneStream one, we finish it. I think you know where the hobby question is going. So just for the audience, we have a Teams channel, and I think the amount of, for the product team, and the amount of snark and sarcasm, and, kind of general gallows humor, I've never seen anything like it. It sometimes can be a very funny place to be.
It's my relaxing.
It is relaxing. I'm like, I can say this stuff and not get fired. This is amazing. Maybe I'm going to get fired.
We got to talk.
So from a OneStream perspective, what is your take on where OneStream will be and where BDA will be with OneStream in just a year and then 3 years out, which I think is, as I said in other interviews, I can't think past 3 years with the pace of change that we're seeing from OneStream.
Right. It's difficult, although, it feels like we just started this company yesterday and we're already 4.5 years into it. And OneStream, feels like I just started with it 2 years ago, and it's like I've been working now with OneStream for 6-7 years at least.
Really?
The pace that they're changing is pretty rapid, and I mean the amount of growth, and as they start to find new markets and new applications for the software, that's one of the things that's always going to be exciting and scary. I mean, we all know like SML and AI, that's all on the forefront. It's hard to really see 3 years down the road, to your point, but I just expect that there will be continued growth. BDA is, in a lot of ways, we're just growing right alongside of OneStream, and as that, as OneStream grows, I anticipate we'll grow. We'll have to continue to innovate and keep on the forefront of what's out there. I mean, without getting into too many details, it's not, you guys know, like I do, kind of the roadmap and the things we're working on behind the scenes as well to try to continue to push ourselves and keep taking advantage of the platform. And, we just have to continue to do that. So I would expect in 3 years, we'll be in a pretty mature spot as far as the number of solutions we have out there. I would anticipate we start to tackle things, around the SML. Obviously, we're not so much from our team, but we are, invested in that. Things like AI and learning large language models, we're working through those right now. We'll probably have a good number of industry applications out there. I think a lot more mature solutions. We just continue to innovate. I would expect in 3 years, though, the landscape will look a lot different.
Yeah.
All the new announcements that they did, we need to adapt to those.
Yep.
Dynamic cubes.
Right. So every time you come to Splash, there's something that's like, oh, okay, that's something we need to start thinking about, start tackling, finding the use case for it. So yes, there's always something to be thinking about. But I would anticipate, I think we've always done very well at taking what's out there and adapting and learning and innovating. So I would expect we'll be in a good spot.
Yeah. Now we're going to ask the personal hobby question. So again, for our audience, this Teams channel of the product group, when things get crazy, and we all start to kind of lose our marbles. What is your long-term plan, or maybe short-term plan?
Well, there are a lot of days where I get, like anybody, technology is just, I want to open a petting zoo and just get the heck out of computers.
I'll bet none of our guests have ever heard that as a personal / professional goal.
I'm gonna start that soon, Damon.
It's just a long running joke I've had for years, where it's just some days 99% of the time I enjoy my job, and there's that 1% of the time you're just like, I'm just gonna shut this computer off, throw it out the window, and go live on a farm.
Understood. Okay, well, with that, it's been a delight to have you, Damon. Thank you for being a guest on the podcast.
Yep, thanks
Thank
for
you,
having me.
Damon.
So after we wrap up here, we'll turn the camera off and we'll talk about
about
the performance review.
I can't wait. I can't wait. Okay, again,
Thank you.
You bet. Thanks.